Are you ready to pack your bags and head out on a grand adventure? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Big Blend's Road Trip Radio Show. Let's find out where we're going today. Happy National Road Trip Day, everyone. May 23rd is National Road Trip Day, and we are doing so many shows and interviews and creating a huge road trip map that you can utilize this summer on your road trips across America. You can do any part of it. You could do the whole thing, or you could be like Nancy and I and travel full time and just go see every part of the country that you possibly can, as do many people do that. So many people are working on doing all 50 states. And then, of course, we can hop over to Canada. We've got Mexico south of us. And so it's exciting. This is exciting to do a road trip show. We've got a panel of guests. Every single one of them are in the world of travel and tourism. The majority are food, wine, travel writers, all part of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. So check them out at IFWTWA. I'm going to give them a shout out because if you follow that hashtag IFTWA, we say, you're going to get even more ideas of where to travel from all these travel writers. We also have a bed and breakfast on the show. So, we know where we're going to stay when we get to Arkansas. Tiffany's Bed and Breakfast, just going to say that. But yeah, let's start in some kind of order. I try to make order just into an order. It doesn't actually work, but let's go start with Katie. Kathleen Walls is based out of Florida. She's a travel writer and an author. You can keep up with her at AmericanRoads.net. Makes sense, right? We're talking road trips. And welcome back, Katie. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. And just back from my last road trip.
Where did you go?
And that's the one I'm going to talk about. I started with Punta Gorda, went all the way down to Key West, and I'm going to talk about my first stop, which is Punta Gorda, which is a very small place. A lot of people in Florida may not have even heard of it, but it has the variety. It has so much the real Florida that you want to see.
I think we've been through there. It's beautiful, that area, but I'm glad you went on a road trip. Florida is an awesome, awesome road trip destination. You can see so many different places. It's more than a beach, way more than a beach. Way more. Especially you go up into the northern part, it's real different. So our next guest is based in Jacksonville. His name is Jeffrey Spear. He's a branding expert, a food, wine, and travel writer, and also an author of, I've got your book still in front of me, Jeff. It's with me like every day. My Life in Gluttony. I don't think I'll ever forget that title either. You can keep up with him at spearwrites.contentlead.com and also studiospear.com. And, everyone's links are in the episode notes, and you'll find this awesome Google map in the episode notes as well. So you can check out where to go. So welcome back, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited about all of this. I live at the beach, and it's one thing to stay home and walk across the street and jump on the surf, but hitting the road and experiencing new places is always fun.
And Florida, like I was saying, is a good road trip state, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now you're going to the Everglades soon, right?
I'm hoping so. Yeah, it's a plan in the works.
Okay, you've got to keep me posted, and you need to go find the crocodiles. And ever since we've been talking about alligators and crocodiles, and Nancy and I had our adventure with the mama crocodile and her babies, mm-hmm. I am getting inundated on Facebook and Instagram of crocodile reels and alligator reels. It's neither one of us can go on our computer without seeing an alligator on someone's front door. Is this normal in Florida? With that many alligators playing with everyone's front door? Like, is this a normal thing? Because I don't remember that happening when I lived there. No, I never had an alligator knock on my front door.
I imagine if you live adjacent to a waterway and the waterway is frequented by them, then having them crawl up into your backyard and maybe up to your door would be commonplace. Where I live, no. But when I'm driving around the state, every now and then I'll see one out on the road, near the road, and then I'll look over and I'll realize there's a body of water right next door, and just crawled out to have a look around.
Well, if it came to my door, it wants pizza.
It knows. It knows it wants pizza. And by the way, Jeff, after our podcast on pizza that aired earlier, everyone, May 16th, check that episode notes. We did go and get our Godfather pizza, and it was darn good. I'm just going to say. Yeah, it is good. It is good. It is good. So now we're going to move up a little bit from Florida. In fact, the first time we met Jo Clark, she came on the show to talk about Northern Florida, the natural coast. And she is based in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and she has alligators too. So everyone, she is a food, wine, travel writer. She goes by the name, Have Glass Will Travel, and you can go to her website, haveglasswilltravel.com. Also recipiestravelculture.com. She also has a podcast with us every second Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time called Jo Goes Everywhere, because she certainly does. So welcome back, Jo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lisa?
Doing good, doing good. Any alligators lately?
Well, not in person, but I've seen lots of pictures. And the funniest one was a state trooper somewhere south of us. I don't know if it was Louisiana or Florida, but there was a great big alligator out in the middle of the interstate, and a state trooper standing there with his hat on watching as a man wrangled it into the back of his pickup truck.
Well, wow.
So I'm like you, I'm seeing them everywhere.
Yeah, it's that season. It's the mating season, all the way through June. It's almost mating season's almost over, but so be careful walking around alligator country or swampies, the swampies. So our next guest, she is new to the show. We've got Cherith Fluker joining us. She's a freelance travel writer. You can go to her website, What Sherry Thinks. Now, I like that.
Thank you.
I wonder what she does think. I wonder what she's going to think after this podcast episode. Then that's CHERI. So welcome, Cherith. How are you? I want to call you Sherry now.
That's okay. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Happy to talk about Alabama. I live near Birmingham, and I feel like our state is criminally underrated when it comes to road trips. So people come through, but very few people stop. And I just am excited to be able to highlight some of the stunning natural beauty and rich history that we have in our state that people need to come and see.
I love Alabama. You've got a beautiful coastline and connects with Florida nicely. And also Birmingham is such a historic place, so much history. But I want to say this, because we do travel full time, and a lot of people know that Nancy and I have our moments at rest areas so we can people watch, because it's the best people watching place ever. In a way, it actually beats out airports. Because it just does, because especially if people are arguing on the road trip, Anyway, I want to say that Alabama has some of the best rest areas in the country. Clean, beautiful gazebos or ramadas or shelters, as you may want to call them, always spread out, really good displays that teach you about the state and the natural areas and the history. You've got some beautiful wildlife refuges for migrating birds. And the other thing about the rest areas, I have never been to an Alabama rest area without seeing cats. You guys have cats, and they take care of the cats. You're not to feed them or do anything, but they take care of cats and I see animals being dumped at rest areas across the country, but the actual rest area people take care of the cats and redo stuff and make sure they're safe and all of that. Isn't that cool?
That is very
cool. But
it's
not cool about the dumping of cats, but it happens everywhere. So it's not an Alabama thing. But anyway, yes, excited to hear about Birmingham. So we're going to go a little bit more into the Southeast. We're going to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Well, a little town called Bismarck, just outside of Hot Springs. And this is where Tiffany is. Tiffany Bertram and her husband Bob own and run Tiffany's Bed and Breakfast. It's on over 50 acres with their own forests, with two kinds of different forests in there, and an old historic mine. They've got, state parks around them. Actual Hot Springs National Park is just down the road. All kinds of waterways, bald eagles, all kinds of bird watching. And it's just a really cool B&B to stay at, especially if you want some peace and quiet, and really good brownies and a darn good breakfast in the morning. So welcome back, Tiffany. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm good.
Hey. Well, good. How's the bird life going? You got any wild turkeys running around?
There's lots of... Haven't seen any wild turkeys lately, but lots of migrating birds. My favorites, the indigo buntings, are here right now. So
no way.
I love seeing their little blue bodies hanging out there. Hummingbirds are back, of course. So just lots of activity out the front porch.
Oh, well, we love your front porch for coffee time and wine time. Yes. And pizza time. I think we've had pizza on the porch with you guys. We have.
It's pretty multifunctional, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had a good time. We love going to Tiffany's. And, if you get Bob if you catch him and start talking to him about music, just mention Rory Gallagher is one of the best guitarists on the planet. And he will spend an evening of music with you if you want. And it's so much fun. We have a good time at Tiffany's all the time. So good to have you back on the show. Everyone, Tiffany'sBedandBreakfast.com is a website. Next, we're going to go to Texas, just outside Austin. Well, that's where Sharon is based, is in Austin. You can go to her website, SharonKKurtz.com, to follow her global adventures. She just got back from almost a month in Japan. Sharon is on Big Blend Radio every first Wednesday, talking about her travels with the podcast Wonder the World with Sharon. So welcome back, Sharon. How are you?
Thank you, Lisa. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm doing well.
I hear that you're going to give a shout out to your region on today's show.
Yes. Texas is a very big place, but Austin is in central Texas, and just 70 miles down the road, we have the most charming place, Fredericksburg, in the Hill Country.
With wine.
Yes.
And music.
It is the second most visited wine region in the U.S. after Napa Valley, and it is the third largest AVA in the U.S., and you can get lots of good wine in Fredericksburg.
Joe, are you listening? I'm just making sure I have classical travel. Yeah, I think so. I think that's important. All right. So from Texas, we're going to go to Tucson. And I've done this trip actually quite a few times from Austin to Tucson, and we're going to hook up with Eva Eldridge. She is a road tripper for sure, big time, and sometimes she's carting a little road tripper thingy that she can tell you about. Artie, she can tell you it's an R-Pod, Artie the R-Pod. She's also a writer and a book industry expert. So if you're publishing a book, you want to call Eva, you can go to her website, evaeldridge.com. So welcome back, Eva. How's it going?
Going pretty good. And if my dog pipes in, sorry.
She might hear my voice. Poppy. I love Poppy.
She's outside right now, so.
Oh, I love Poppy. She has, Eva's got the cutest dog, Poppy. Yeah, Poppy the puppy, but I don't know if she's a puppy. But... Do you travel with her yet?
We were hoping to this summer. We will see. She's gotten bigger. Wait till you see her.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see her for sure. Now, I know you're in Tucson, and we want to cover Tucson, but if you go to Tucson, Saguaro National Park, the UNESCO World Heritage, it's a UNESCO gastronomy capital. So, I've got to say, Jeff, you've been to Tucson, right? I think you have.
I went to school at U of A, so that's my old stomping grounds.
So there's good food.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some of the best. And Saguaro National Park, DeGrazia Gallery in the Sun. But I know you want to talk about somewhere different, right?
Yeah, and I want to mention that we just got back from Florida. We were in Isla Morada and had to drive down to the Keys for unfortunate reasons because I went swimming with my phone. And then we were supposed to go to Hot Springs for last weekend for a wedding, but both me and my husband got sick, so we came home early. But that's unfortunate. Wow. I wish I'd known that about you guys when I was there. Yeah, I want to talk about Telluride. Jeff and I go to Colorado. Well, we went like 3 times in the last year. So our trip to Telluride was in our travel trailer, which is a Forest River R-Pod. It's very small. It's only 17 feet. But it was a wonderful trip. I like traveling in it. It's fun. We go to interesting RV parks. Sometimes we can just park someplace and you don't have to hook up. So yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, and the beautiful, beautiful area around Telluride.
Telluride, that whole, Colorado is gorgeous. And I think we've done some good travels with you, Eva, through there. And remember, we went to the Alien Garden. What was that? Right. Was the UFO station? What? Yes. Outside Great Sand Dunes National Park. Yep.
Yes.
There is an alien garden, and you can go up on this tower if you dare to even try and climb this thing, because it's not really, somebody needs to rebuild that. And they swear aliens land there. And it's a garden with like toilets. There was a toilet in there, and Barbie dolls, and why would an alien come down for a Barbie doll? I don't know, but this is the stuff that you know what? I think these places are super important for road trips, right? Who doesn't want to stop at the Thing when you drive from Texas to Tucson and you're near New Mexico? It goes the Thing. You got to pull over for the Thing. And everybody tells me don't go into the Thing. It's not worth it. But I want to go to the Thing just to say it wasn't worth it. But there's a mummy in the Thing. So I want to go see the mummy in the Thing just because, so it's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Oh, well, see, simply, Eva, you're like us. We want to go see the weird and the wonderful. And that's the beauty of road trips, So, I want to ask, we're going to talk about all these places real quick. Go around and see who you want as a travel companion, because this is very important on a road trip. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but I like to do this. If you want to have someone as a travel companion for fun or to learn from, but you need to have fun, travel companions are crucial, so that you can do your road trip solo for sure, but you do not want an annoying travel companion. A road trip can make or break a relationship. So if you're going to put someone in the seat with you, in the front of the car with you, you're driving, they're sitting next to you. Who do you want in that seat with you, whether you know them or not? If you don't know them, and maybe, alive or dead, all that stuff, it's fine with me. Fictional's fine. Who do you want in there? So Sharon, I want to go to you. Who do you want in your front seat with you?
Well, let's see. Can I fit two people in the front seat?
I don't know. Can they fit in it? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Thelma and Louise.
Oh boy. Well, we know how this road trip's ending.
It will be interesting for sure.
Have a margarita before you go off. Okay.
All right. I'll do it.
Yeah, really. If you're going to go off I feel like you should maybe have a cocktail in hand if you're plunging off a cliff. I do.
Yes.
And
I feel like we should. Belly.
And anyway, that's not so nice, but Thelma and Louise, that would be fun. That's pretty epic. What about you, Cherry? Who do you want to take with you?
It would definitely be my daughter. She's 22 and she knows that she is my favorite +1 traveler. She is down for all the shenanigans wherever I want to stop. She doesn't get tired. I love it. Everybody else is like, I need a nap. No, we don't do that when we travel. And she is my favorite person to travel with because anything goes with her.
Oh, that's it. See, Nancy and I are mother-daughter. We do have our little times of where we bicker. Eva knows that.
We probably do that, but
yeah, but then we have a glass of wine and get on with it because
exactly.
We don't have time. Yeah,
exactly.
But that's so cool. Mother-daughters, and some mother-daughters don't get to do that, but it is fun if you've got the right one. It's the shenanigans is good. I like to hear shenanigans.
And I love that she's wine aged now. So yes, it's really fun now.
It's always good to have a mom that encourages her daughter to get over that 21-year hump, get on with it. No, but before that, she could just be driving,
Right.
That's what Nancy does to me. I'm the driver. She's like, you're the one you're the one in control. That you wanted to be there. You do it. All right, fine. All right, Joe, who do you want to take?
Oh, it would have to be my road trip buddy, Audrey. And like Sheree was saying about her daughter, Audrey is up for anything. She always says we eat well together because whatever we get, we'll each eat half of it. And we'll eat anything that doesn't eat us. And Alligator I've turned her into a really good wino.
Oh, well, that's good. That's how friends have to travel. I like that. Tiffany, what about you?
I've got to take my best friend. She lives in Kansas, so I don't get to see her very often. So what a better trip to spend some quality time together than on a road trip.
Oh, cool. And Kansas, man, there's some parts of Kansas that I've had to make sure I stay awake. It's that 50 highway. I think Nancy and I have done the entire Highway 50 across the country.
Wow.
From Nevada to Washington, to DC. And then
cool.
I think it goes into Maryland. Yeah.
It does.
We were following the Arkansas River, and it didn't dawn on me until we were driving through DC about, I don't know, who knows, a few months ago. And I went, look, we're still on 50. What the hell? Where's the Arkansas River? But, and Eva, you know Highway 50 real well, you know? Yeah, you know that from
I've been on that a couple times.
Yeah, a few times. But Kansas is cool. We have Kansas as part of our road trip as well. Galena, Kansas. Have you been to Galena, Kansas? Anyone here?
I don't think so. I know where it is, but I don't know that I've ever been there.
Well, when you go, because you have to go to Gearhead Curios, they have they're him and his fiance Cassandra, Aaron and Cassandra they've got what they're building, the Petrel Motor Court, which is an old school kind of motel from this very historic lot, and they're naming each of the cabins after different car things. And then Gearhead Curios, it's on the historic Jefferson Highway. You know, I have to bring up the Jefferson Highway, right? Since we're doing the travel guide and doing the conference and everything coming up. But they have an old gas station, and it's on Route 66. And apparently it is the most photographed toilet on Route 66, because you basically hit the funnel is what happens. So Jeff, you need to go. I'm just saying, you know, I'm sending you on an assignment. Go hit the funnel in Galena, Kansas. But anyway, it is part of the podcast. So just a shout out to Kansas, and can't wait to get back there. And Katie, you had some fun in Kansas, didn't you?
Yeah. I passed through Galena.
Did you?
But
yeah,
I saw so much of campus, I'm not sure where I went.
Yeah, you went to the Wizard of Oz Museum.
Oh, yes.
That's
and Lucas,
cool.
Where they have the weirdest toilets you've ever seen.
Oh, that's right. See,
yes.
Okay. I'm going to have to put this on the map, and a map edition coming up right now. Map edition, because you saw some really strange stuff in Kansas.
Definitely.
That big ball of twine. Wasn't
right.
it the
biggest ball of twine, the Wizard of Oz. The biggest belt buckle. Of course, the Eisenhower Museum, which isn't weird, but it's something everybody should go to.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, who is your road trip buddy?
I guess I would take two people too, which would be Kathy Boynette with extended weekend getaways, and Renee Gordon. Her and I, or the three of us, have done a road trip in the past in Missouri, so they'd be my best traveling buddies.
Nice. Eva, who are you taking on a road trip?
Sure you can guess this one, Jeff.
Of course. They're the best travel buddies. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Jeff, her husband.
I like traveling with him. He's fun, and we end up having some interesting times. I know that you listen to books all the time, but does he sneak in music on the road when you guys travel together? Because he's such a music person. Both of you are. Yeah. So he does, when we're in the R-Pod, because we take the R-Pod and the truck and the Subaru both, he does listen to music, and I listen to my audiobooks. So we are, because we have separate vehicles then. But when we're together, we do both. We listen to either audiobooks, and sometimes he wants to listen to music. So we do both.
Cool. Jeff, who are you taking?
Well, I'm currently in search of a travel buddy. It seems like a lot of my friends no longer have the capacity to drink much or eat much, and it's just pissing me off. So, it's like, come on, let's have a drink. And one of the things I like about travel is stopping into all kinds of places and just trying stuff, or going into
dive bars.
Definitely. I don't know if we'll come out alive, but let's go in and have a cocktail, And so, I'm looking for someone that's a little bit more open-minded. My friends are just getting old and tired. So, in the meantime,
by the way, everyone, we're going to put an ad out. It's like we're going to Craigslist this.
You're going to put a clickable link on your
clickable link.
Podcast,
meet Jeff.
right?
Yeah, meet Jeff. 1-800 Jeff wants a travel buddy.
All my rowdy friends are settling down.
Yeah. Oh man. See, but that's it. That's why you need to not put off travel. I don't care. You do not put off travel. Do not put off travel and wait. Because sometimes waiting, then we start to get all like, oh, but I've got to wash my hair tonight. Stop it. You can have dirty hair on road trips, by the way. Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead. Who are you going to take?
As long as we can go into fantasy land, I'd say someone like Carrie Fisher. I think she'd be a hoot. And,
yeah. Yeah.
And
she'll take a drink anywhere.
That's what I gather. So, it's like entertaining and adventurous all in one. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. But she has to do like the Princess Leia hair, like if you're on a road trip, just to freak people out. And then you could get one of those sabers, and go like that would be, because you could do some of the locations where they filmed Star Wars.
I don't geek out over that movie, but okay.
Well, the best part of Star Wars to me is where they go to the bar where Jabba the Hutt is. That's what I remember is Jabba the Hutt and the bar, because the bar is the best scene with all the different creatures drinking. That's, I think someone needs to create that as a bar, a Jabba the Hutt bar.
I would imagine there is one.
Yeah. Well, we're going to come hang out with you, Jeff, in Jacksonville. Like, we're going to have to spend a day. I know, Nancy, you and I will get in trouble. I have that feeling. And Joe, you're not far. And Katie, you're not far. I don't know, Cherry, we're going to have to, you may have to road trip. I don't know. I think we're all going to have to, you Sharon,
everybody could meet here. I'm kind of in the middle.
We could all hang out together there.
Yeah. Eva, Jeff, you guys get on Artie, the road part. Let's go. All right. Well, let's get to the destination. So, Katie, I want to start with you, Punta Gorda, because I'm going to try and do this as a road trip, but it really, it's interesting. It's like every road trip has a detour, but Punta Gorda. Is this a big or small town?
It's a small town, and it's just, people think of the Everglades as Everglades National Forest, but the Everglades actually begins at Lake Okeechobee and drains the whole bottom of Florida. And if you were to draw a line straight across from west to east, Punta Gorda is sitting right in the middle of the same line that Lake Okeechobee is. So you're beginning to see nature, but that's one of the things I liked about it. There's a mix of nature and culture. Babcock, everybody should take a Babcock Swamp tour. Talk about seeing well, you don't see crocodiles, but you see a lot of alligators. And that is one of the most fantastic nature tours because it's a real ranch, but portions of it have been sectioned off. Some of it is a private preserve where wildlife flourishes. And on the ranch, there's no hunting or anything. It's for the animals, and there's also a working ranch. But they have the Cracker cows, which were the first cows over here from Spain. We kind of forget cows, pigs, and horses technically are invasive animals. The Spanish brought them over when they came. And on this tour, on the bus tour, it's an old school bus. They cut the windows out, and you're very up close, and the driver will throw feed out to the animals, except for the alligators, which you cannot feed in Florida, not legally. But you still see lots of them. And we saw a whole herd of wild pigs, lots of Cracker cows, deer, plenty deer, tons of wild birds. You're guaranteed to see nature. And if you're a movie fan, the old movie, Just Cause with, Sean Connery and Lawrence Fishburne was filmed there. And one of the neatest stories, you pass the culvert, which is in this swamp, which really is part of the Everglades. There's a culvert. And the driver stops there and points it out. And one of our drivers, I've done several tours there, pointed out that when Sean Connery finds a murder knife down there in the culvert, and he calls Lawrence Fishburne. He says, "Hey, you're the sheriff. You should be the one to take it out." Lawrence Fishburne comes down to take the knife out, and in real life, this alligator comes popping out of the culvert. And they say the ranchers had no problem getting rid of the alligator. In a few minutes, they moved him, but they had quite a problem getting the two actors to come back and finish the scene. But it's just a fantastic place to visit. And then on the opposite end of that, there's Fisherman's Wharf, where if Jeffrey likes seafood, they've got some fantastic restaurants where you're right on sitting overlooking the water. There's a marina where you can which I took a sunset cruise out from there, where you go out and will most likely see dolphins and guaranteed a fantastic sunset. And Fisherman's Wharf, it's a mixture of history and culture. There's the city of Ponte Vedra, has all sorts of murals that tell its history. And one of the murals in Fisherman's Wharf is called Three School Moms Crossing the Bay. And it's a full-size wall outside as you're walking down from Fisherman's Village, which is not really totally enclosed like you would expect a mall to be. You're seeing sunlight coming through the roof. And many of the spaces along there are just open down to the marina. And you're on Charlotte Harbor. And this mural is these three women in period clothes, 19th century dress, rowing a boat across the harbor. And in real life, the school teachers who taught over in Charlotte Harbor town would have to row over because there was no bridge across at that time. And the murals, not only in Fisherman's Village, but all over town, they're fantastic. And the food, this time I ate at the Harpoon Harry's, and while I was eating, I had a broiled shrimp, which was really good, like the shrimp, with the potatoes and corn, and just very, very basic food, not fancy, but really good. And when you're sitting there, you're out there, the whole place is open to the water, and this little brown bird kept flying right in. A couple of them would just fly right in and land under the tables. If anybody dropped the scrap, they'd grab it and take back off. You could see the boats passing.
Sounds nice, Katie.
It's a fantastic
Where did you sleep?
Place.
Where should people sleep when they go and visit?
When I was there, I stayed at a beautiful Art Deco hotel. It's kind of hard to pronounce. It's called the Wyvern Wyvern Hotel, and it's on it's right in town. You're close, and there's quite a lot of art. They pair with the visual arts community there, where they have local artists do paintings, and they're on the wall, and they're also for sale. And your rooms. And you have when you're looking in my room, you have a balcony and you're looking right out on the marina. And they have really good food there at their restaurants too.
Oh, so everyone, Katie's got a great article and it's linked in the episode notes so you can dive in a little bit further. Jeff, where are you taking us in Orlando? What's the main thing? I know there's all the theme parks there, but I think you're going to show us something a little bit different. I remember our first visit to Orlando, we did the Epcot Center, but we went to this place called the Mercado Center, which isn't there anymore. And it was, I was in heaven because there were restaurants and even in Kissimmee, it was the same. There were a lot of people from Kenya and South Africa that had restaurants and shops. And we just got here to this country from living there. And it was like I finally felt at home. Like it was so cool. I had just such a good time there, but the Mercado's gone. So you would have enjoyed it. There was good food, but I know everyone's going to tell you where to eat, Jeff, but, where should people go in Orlando other than the theme parks?
I go down to Orlando, once or twice a year for business, and it's always at the convention center, which is right nearby the theme parks, and the traffic is terrible. And it's all touristy stuff, and it's just crap, in my opinion. And when I was going down one year, I decided that I was going to investigate the city a little bit, and I found a Main Street community called Mills 50. And I looked into it and I learned about this whole Main Street Community Program, it's Main Street America. And when I was doing my research on where these main streets are, and I was researching around the country, but there's one in particular called the Park Avenue District, which is part of the Winter Park area.
Oh, okay.
And it's this fabulous little community. It's a little bit upscale. It's got red brick roads. It's got a beautiful park, hence the name Park Avenue District. It's the Central Park. The shops there are nice. The restaurants there, I mean, you've got everything from a casual coffee shop to a high-end, James Beard nominated chef-run restaurants. It's great. And, the best thing I like about it is, and I noticed that the train station there, it's an Amtrak train station, and it's actually serviced by, the Sunrail, the commuter train as well. But the train station is this really funky looking craftsman style building, and it's adjacent to the park, which means that you can ride a train right from wherever you want to go. The train that runs there is called the Floridian. It actually originates in Chicago and comes all the way down, winds its way through DC and then down to Florida. But you can take the train when it gets to the Winter Park station, literally step off, and you're in Central Park, their Central Park. And then you can enjoy all the shops and the restaurants, and there's some great museums there too. There's the largest collection of Tiffany artworks in the country. Is there? That's the I just lost it in my head. The Charles Hosmer Morse Museum. They've got all this Tiffany. It's a fabulous collection. But there's lots of stuff to do there. And then if you're so inclined, if you really have to, you can hop in a car, get an Uber, and you can go south to Kissimmee, and you can go to the theme parks. But why spoil a good thing?
Yeah. Now, where would you sleep in Orlando?
In Orlando, I don't know, but in the Park Avenue district, there's a very nice upscale boutique hotel, called the Alfond, and I would highly recommend that. The other thing about the Alfond is they have this art collection in there. It's the Alfond collection of contemporary art. And so you can stay in this luxury hotel and then enjoy the artworks and then walk off to have dinner in any one of these fabulous restaurants. And I mean, you just can't go wrong.
Sounds nice. I don't think we've done that part of Orlando at all, except for where the Mercado was. I mean, I just remember that being, it was just like so many cool restaurants and pubs and silliness, you know?
Well, I'm still learning about Orlando's various neighborhoods that have, some distinctive qualities. There's this one, it's about a 1 mile stretch of road that's all Asian international restaurants and markets, and on East Colonial Avenue. And I'm exploring that and see they've got all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah. So slowly I'm finding out where these really cool neighborhoods are, everything but theme parks. I'll go ride roller coasters if anybody wants, but I love them. But I think Orlando's got more to offer than that.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, is to look at the other side of all of that. Let's go up from Orlando to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, that beautiful area. And talk to Joe and say, okay, so what is a must do when people go to Myrtle Beach?
Oh, must do's here. Goodness. I would say you have to go to Brook Green Gardens, and you have to go to Huntington Beach State Park, which is across the street from Brook Green Gardens. It was all part of the same 4 plantation property when the Anna and Archer Huntington bought the property in the 30s. And at Huntington Beach State Park, you have Atalaya Castle, which was their winter home and where Anna could do her sculpting indoors or outdoors, ocean front. She had been diagnosed with tuberculosis And so this was a health resort for her, was to come to the beach and recuperate. And it became a yearly thing that they spent every winter here.
Wow. Jeff has mentioned that you've got a lot of miniature golf parks or something. We can have cocktails and go mini putt-putting?
Yes, you certainly can. And we even have indoor putt-putt. So if it's raining, you got somewhere else to go. Yeah.
Hey, listen.
What did I had that in one of my articles, and that's not at the front of my brain. I believe we have more than 50 putt-putt courses in town.
Wow.
And we have a brand new one here in Surfside with an airplane in the middle of it.
No. I was told that Myrtle Beach has more miniature golf parks than anywhere else in the country.
Yep, you were told right.
Wow. Okay, so you can go. Well, you know what? If you're traveling on a road trip with a bunch of kids, including the adults, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
miniature golf can be super fun. Now, food. I mean, Joe. We've done a podcast with you about the food of Myrtle Beach, and it's like a world in one city. You know,
it is with over 2,000 restaurants. Basically, you can toss a pebble and pick a good restaurant. They don't last if they're not good. So the majority of them that I go to are good. They're outstanding, a lot of them. I would say for breakfast, you should go to the Golden Egg and have ham and eggs and grits and red-eye gravy. I mean, you're in the South, so embrace it. But for lunch, we're going Mediterranean. I think Jerusalem is the place to go, and it is a fantastic Mediterranean restaurant and bar. And you could go on Wednesday or Saturday night and have a belly dancing floor show. But yeah, but for dinner, of course, you and I both love the word kakalaki. So he's in the process of changing that. It's now being known as the Carolina Brew Crab for a number of reasons. And it's still the same place. It's still a seafood shop and fresh seafood and restaurant. So you can go in and pick out your meal. It was swimming this morning, and William and his staff will cook it the way you want it, fried, blackened, broiled, however you want it cooked. You can just eat yourself into oblivion. But no, I was thinking about if you're on a road trip, how are you going to get here? The funny thing is, you can come in on 501, which comes from sort of the northwest, but most people end up, even if they come on 501, you have to get on Highway 17. And it's funny because I thought, well, wonder where 17 starts. It starts in downtown Punta Gorda.
Oh, that is hysterical. So that ties.
It was called, it's called the Coastal Highway. It begins in Punta Gorda and it ends up in downtown Winchester, Virginia. So it weaves its way mostly up the coast before it cuts across Virginia to get to Winchester. And you used to cross a drawbridge or a swing bridge to get here. Now we have huge tall bridges because you're crossing a body of water. You're crossing the intercoastal waterway in most places, but people don't think about Myrtle Beach is an island. And when I say we're an island, people say Myrtle Beach isn't an island. And I go, okay, tell me how to get here without crossing water.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll wait.
Now, what would you recommend for lodging?
Oh, there's a cute place in Murrells Inlet. And, we call Murrells Inlet a drinking village with a fishing problem.
Oh.
There is the Brookwood Inn, which is an old historic motor inn that opened New Year's Day, 1950. and they completely renovated everything last year, but it's still got that old motor court vibe, and it is just darling. I would stay there. If you just have to stay oceanfront, the Holiday Inn Oceanfront in Surfside is excellent. They have a friendly staff. They have a restaurant and bar, and they are walking distance to the pier and all the downtown area. Not that there's a lot of downtown area, all 2 blocks of it, of Surfside, but it gets you out of some of the traffic in Myrtle Beach. You can go up there for things, to go play putt-putt and eat, but it's nice to come back to a little bit quieter area and a little less traffic.
Well, cool. And everyone, we've got links to Joe's articles and podcasts on Myrtle Beach as well. Katie, I know that you have to rush off to a meeting, but I was going to ask you, Kathleen, about the song that you wanted to pick for, because we're going to go around and talk music too real quick. Right. But yeah, you for a road trip music.
If we can't get Bobby Hicks, I'm Florida, the perfect song is a Johnny Cash song, I've Been Everywhere.
Oh, well, there you go. I've been everywhere.
That's a road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been everywhere. There you go, everyone. Okay, I like that. All right, so I wanted to go over. So now we're going to go to Birmingham, to Cherry. We've got to talk about Birmingham, Alabama. We're going to go, and then we're going to go to Arkansas. So, Cherry, tell us a little bit about what you think people need to experience in Birmingham.
There's so many things. And I actually just wrote a book for Reedy Press called Secret Birmingham. So I've spent a lot of time in the last few months kind of going around the city and covering. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. But it was really fun. And I found, even though I have lived near the city, I live just outside of Birmingham, but I've lived here my entire life. But doing that book or writing that book, the research for the book, I found so many things that I think people need to see. But if I had to tell somebody that was doing a road trip, one thing that I felt like they needed to see, I think it would be Vulcan, the big cast iron statue. It is the largest cast iron statue in the world. You actually can go up to the top of it, and there is an observation deck, and you can get beautiful views of the city. And I think it's just a great place to start if you're just going to be in Birmingham for a short time, because you learn so much about the history. There's also a museum there as well, and you can learn just so much about Birmingham. There's a trail. There's also an old mine ruin that's there, the entryway. So it's just a lot for someone to learn about the city in a short period of time. So if you had to choose one place to go, I would definitely choose Vulcan. It's just a lot of people know Birmingham for that statue. So I think it would be a great place to go just to kind of get an overview of the city and then determine what to do on your next visit if you're going to come back.
And there's Birmingham has a civil rights trail, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it is amazing. There's a civil rights trail. There's also the Civil Rights Institute, Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. That is amazing. So yes, and then there's so much attached to it. Like across the street, there's the 16th Street Baptist Church. There's Kelly Ingram Park that has so many statues and other things that memorialize, that time. So I think that's definitely a place to see. You get to experience so much in just a short space. But there are over 100 stops on that civil rights trail in our area. Yeah, that I learned during, doing that research too. So there's just a lot in the city that I think people would enjoy, especially people that love history.
Yeah, exactly. And when I think about Birmingham, I think if you're traveling with kids, it's really good for them to go to these stops and really start to understand. It's Absolutely. That's a really good thing to do. Now, what about the food? Because I know Alabama, listen, when you go to the coast of Alabama and when it connects to Florida, there's a thing called bushwhackers. Yummy. They're one of the most dangerous cocktails on the planet because you think you're just having like a little ice cream kind of thing.
Right.
Then next thing you know, you try to stand up to go to the bathroom and you lost your legs somewhere.
I think a lot of people sleep on Birmingham's food scene. We have a really, really wonderful food scene. If you like soul food, we have that, but we also have what I think a lot of people sleep on is we have several James Beard award winning restaurants. We have some amazing chefs here. We actually have Frank Stitt, who is an James Beard award-winning chef, who is called the father of Alabama fine dining. So we have lots of fine dining restaurants. And I think there are just so many to choose from. But if I had to choose a favorite that I think blends and really kind of tells or feels like Birmingham, I would choose Bottega. Their tagline is where the American South meets the Italian countryside. So there are some Italian inspired dishes that use several locally sourced ingredients. And there's also there's a fancy side. There's also a cafe side if you're more of a laid back person, and you can find, delicious meals there too. So we have a lot of places. And then there's also another of my favorites. It's called Nikki's West. It's a very historic cafeteria style restaurant that's been in business for several decades. And it's just where you can go to get that good home cooking that people think about when they're in the South. I actually just went there a few days ago. Lots of people love it, but it's one of the few cafeteria style restaurants that's still in business. So I think that would be worth seeing too, just because of the history there. And it's really good food.
Oh, sounds good to me. Sounds good. Now, where are we sleeping after all the food?
We are going to sleep at the Redmont Hotel. It is the oldest hotel in Alabama, the longest running hotel, yes. And it has been modernized, of course, but they still have several of the historic features, like the mail chutes. The original mail chutes are there. It has a beautiful rooftop bar that gives you great views of the city as well, has that historic looking sign that's still there. But I think it's really fun. And there's a lot of people that if you ask, just depending on who you ask, that feel like it might be haunted, because it is known as the last night where Hank Williams stayed before he passed away the next day. Yeah. So a lot of people say that you can see remnants of him if you're one of those people that are looking for
I'm going.
So, and a lot of stars have stayed there. I've heard that Aretha Franklin has stayed there before. So there's just lots of, it's just really beautiful. And it's right there downtown. You can walk to the historic theater district, so you might be able to catch some shows. There's also a children's science center. It's McWane Science Center. That's not too far away, but it is a beautiful hotel. And I think it's a great place to stay that's really Birmingham. So if you're somebody that loves that history part of it and it's beautiful, there's dining inside that restaurant as well. So yeah, I think that would be where I tell people to sleep.
I think being haunted on a road trip is mandatory.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. I want to go because, Hank Williams, man, he wrote some of the best music. I mean, he had some, issues with the bottle and stuff, but it's just, I mean, when you go back in that history of music and American music and country music, you can't leave him out, so definitely. All right. So we're in Alabama. So that means we have to go up to Arkansas. So where are we going? At Tiffany, we're going to stay at the bed and breakfast. So, I've talked about the natural beauty, but tell people about your rooms at Tiffany's bed and breakfast.
Okay. We, just have 3 guest rooms, so there's never a crowd. Each one has a private bath. 2 have, jetted tubs and a separate shower. One has a small deck off the side that I've got guests sitting out there this afternoon just reading and relaxing and enjoying themselves.
Nice.
If you don't have that one, you can come relax on the famous front porch, which we've already determined is multi-purpose for coffee drinking, wine drinking, bird watching, animal watching, pizza eating, owl watching. Yeah. Lots of functions on that front porch. Exactly.
Absolutely. And garden and watching all the flowers. Mm-hmm.
And watching the flowers bloom. Yes. Bob has a green thumb. And then in the mornings, we will serve you breakfast at Tiffany's.
That's it. See, and so I think Jeff needs to go back to that museum in Orlando and steal some Tiffany.
There you go.
Tiffany lamps and bring him over to the bed and breakfast. I think he'll get extra brownies from you for doing that, right?
Some hot Tiffany. Always welcome, of course.
Yeah, Jeff, are you up for the heist?
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. The problem is he'll go stop for a cocktail somewhere on the way. That's the problem. We may never get him all the way to where he needs to be, but this is, and so where you are is in a small place called Bismarck, which really is about the mine, named after the mine on your property, a very historic mine. But where would you say, obviously Hot Springs, it's very unique with all the spas, the bathhouses, the only brewery. Tell everyone about the brewery. I know we keep talking about this every time you're on the show, but it is, I think, should be on the map for people going to Hot Springs. Yeah. Tell people.
It's called the Superior Bathhouse Brewery. It's in one of the old bathhouses. It is the only brewery in a national park and the only one in the world to brew their beer with thermal water. So,
see, this is important.
If you're going on a road trip, you got to do unique things, and that's one.
Yep. Where else would you say people need to go? And Hot Springs, the city itself, is actually part of the park, right? That's the other unique thing. It's like it's all in one.
The park is within the city of Hot Springs. Yes, so also unique. So yes, everything to do with the national park you've got to visit. We've got 4 lakes in the surrounding area, 3 with state parks attached to them. There's Lake Washita, which is the largest. Lake Catherine has a small waterfall that you can hike to. Lake Hamilton is the one you see as you're driving through Hot Springs. And then DeGray Lake is the closest one to us. But I'm going to say everybody knows about Hot Springs, but a lot of people don't know that Arkansas also has the only diamond mine in the country. So we're going to go to the Crater of Diamonds State Park on this trip.
Yes. And
do we get to keep what we find?
You absolutely do. Finders keepers is the rule.
Yep. And don't you have a thing? Don't you help people, like you have like a bucket and things like that people can take, or do they get them there?
Both. We do have a package that includes admission for 2, as well as a bucket, a shovel, and sifting screens that you can use to find a diamond if you're serious about it. Or you can be like the Minnesota man that was just here and looked down on the ground and saw a shiny candy wrapper, bent down to be a good citizen and picked it up and found it was a 3.81 carat brown diamond. Shining up at him.
Hey, now that pays to pick up trash, doesn't it? I love that.
It pays to pick up trash.
Wow. Now that is a unique thing to do, right? Oh my gosh.
It is.
I love that.
Definitely.
Nancy and I have not done that yet. Every time we've been there, we need to do that, because you know what's going to happen.
You've still got on your list.
Nancy will sit there. You know what's going to happen. She'll sit there and she'll go, I want a glass of wine and I'm going to watch you dig. That's what's going to happen, right? That's exactly it. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Where are we going to eat? Pizza on the deck.
Pizza on the deck. There are tons of great restaurants in Hot Springs, but I'm going to give a shout out to one of our favorites. It's called Lost Creek Grill. They raise their own beef, so their steaks are fresh and delicious and reasonably priced as well. People come from as far as Dallas just to eat their steaks. It's amazing. They also have the best baked potato soup in the world, according to me. And after you're done with your meal, their cheesecake is to die for. So it's a little farther out. It's kind of on the west end of Hot Springs, so away from the national park, away from the touristy areas. So it's more of kind of a locals hangout, but our guests love it. Lots of them go the first night they're here and go back the second night as well.
Well, I want to add a couple things. And one is that there's another place, Nancy and I still need, there's two. You've got the gardens we need to go to.
Garvin Woodland Gardens.
Yeah, we need to do that. But you also have Tiny Town, and we want to go just because it's Tiny Town.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some of you know Nancy and I in our history of anyway, that's a whole story. That's a whole other podcast. Yeah, it's connected with an old movie. But anyway, so there's that to do, but Jeff is messaging here. He wants to know, and I don't, because you're calling in from the phone about, Jeff, what is this, a Walmart museum in Hot Springs?
I don't know. Didn't Walmart start in your neck of the woods?
Yes, Walmart did start in Arkansas. The Walmart Museum is up in Bentonville, which is the northwest corner of Arkansas.
Got it.
And they have also opened an American art museum up there. The Waltons opened it. Alice Walton was responsible for it. It's called Crystal Bridges, and it is a fabulous art museum. And thanks to the Waltons, it is free admission to get into this museum. And they've got not only the museum building, there's a Frank Lloyd Wright home on the property. There's some art trails with outdoor art around the property. So it's just that's a one-day visit in and of itself.
That's a must do. They're iconic just even for their architecture of how they've done things. I just did an interview about them and other art museums of the 21st century. Yes. I did a 3-part interview series with artist Victoria Chick on the history of museums. We start with museums because she's opening a museum in Silver City, New Mexico. Silver City, New Mexico should be on your list too. I know Eva will agree on that. It's in the southwest corner, not far from Tucson. But she did a 3-part series on the history of museums and then art museums and then in America and how everything became museums and then the 21st century. And Crystal Bridges is one of the finest examples of being unique and contemporary, using nature, all of that. And Alice, who you were talking about, is hugely instrumental for other art museums being created around the country and funding and all of that. But yeah, it's super cool. Super, super cool. All right. So we're going to go from Arkansas to Texas. Sharon, are we drinking wine or are we drinking margaritas or both?
Well, we are actually starting at my favorite restaurant there called Hill and Vine. And they are known for a cocktail called Snake in My Boot.
Uh-oh. They don't put it at the bottom of the glass like the worm in the tequila, right?
It's tequila, pineapple juice, and prickly pear syrup. So if we come to Fredericksburg, we've got to go to Hill and Vine and have a cocktail.
Okay, I'm in. Now, what are we going to do in Fredericksburg?
Well, Fredericksburg is founded by German immigrants in 1846. And the settlers established the town with the goal of preserving their language, culture, and traditions. So it's a darling little German-influenced town with an Oktoberfest, great restaurants, great shopping, and wineries, as we've already said.
We like the wineries. Okay. Now, isn't this close to Luckenbach? I'm not saying it right.
Yeah, Luckenbach is right outside of town. And that's famous for one of the oldest dance halls in Texas. And it's famous for the song Luckenbach, Texas, Back to the Basics of Love by Waylon Jennings.
Ooh. All right. So is that going on the road trip music list?
Yes, that's my song.
Okay. She picked it. Where are we sleeping?
Well, they're known for their guest houses. It's a little bitty place. And I stayed in this guest house called the Outlaw 201. It was 3 little, they look like little white clapboard churches, actually. And I stayed in the Pfeiffer House in the middle of a meadow filled with bluebonnets and longhorn cattle.
I'm into that. Now, speaking of bluebonnets, you have a great photo. We remember we did a podcast with you on Fredericksburg, and everyone, the link is in the episode notes. Also a link to Sharon's article on Fredericksburg. We have an article link for Shareth for Birmingham, Alabama. So you could, and her link, because we need to follow up with what's going on with this book she's doing on Birmingham.
Yes,
I think that's super cool. Yeah, but is it Enchanted Rock that people should go to as well?
Yes. Enchanted Rock is a ginormous pink granite dome. Just out of the middle of nowhere is just this giant rock. And it's spiritual to American Native tribes, the Tonkawa and the Apache. And so it's 20 minutes outside of town, and you go there, and there's 8 miles of trails, and you climb to the top of Enchanted Rock. And that is where my son proposed to his girlfriend, now his wife of 8 years.
Wow. See? Full story right there, isn't it? Very cool. Very cool. All right. So Texas, Jeff, how are you feeling on the food scene of everything? The food and drinking scene. Is this a good enough road trip?
Yeah, look, there's always a good experience to be had.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Joe, you got enough wine on here? I'm, checking in.
I do. I'm all set.
Okay, good. Because now we're going to go to Telluride. Eva's going to tell us about Telluride and camping there. So is that going to be a lodging destination is camping? Where would you tell people to camp?
We could not get into the campgrounds we wanted to because we went up for the Telluride Bluegrass Festival. So we were down in Priest Gulch, which is between Telluride and Dolores. Now, we fell in love with that campground many, many years ago. We just stopped there out of the blue, and the Dolores River runs through it. And it's in a valley, and it's full of trees, and it's, high country and cool. It was just beautiful. We ran, and it was the same thing when we stopped by I think it was last year. 2 years ago for that, because it's expanded a little bit. Now you can actually camp on the other side of the Dolores also, but it's lovely. It has great. So when you're in such a small travel trailer that we have, bathrooms, showers, and laundry services are very important when you stop by these campgrounds. And they were excellent there. I can highly recommend them. And they also have a little store connected with their office that equips a lot of things that you might need. So yeah, I highly recommend Priest Gulch. It's very pretty.
Okay, Priest Gulch. Very cool. We've got the link in the episode notes for people. That's cool.
So Telluride actually in the summer, Telluride holds a bunch of different festivals. I think I just looked it up, and there are about up to 20. And then they have one festival called the weekend when there's no festivals, so the locals don't have to fight all the traffic. I think that's kind of funny myself. We've stayed at Airbnbs there. I'm not going to recommend the one I stayed at last time. It wasn't particularly great, but you know what? It served what we needed. Because you can't, during those festivals, you really need to book up early. But the thing I found in Telluride, it's a beautiful, beautiful, ancient, it's historic city. It's not very big. They try to stay true to their historic mining routes. It's at a dead-end road. You can't drive through Telluride. You've got to go to Telluride. The mountains around it are 13 and 14,000 feet. It's up around 8,000 feet. Wow. I think, about 8,000 feet. So it's high country. And you don't know if you're going to get snowed on, rained on, burnt to death from the sun, or what. We've been there through all of that during a festival. So, and this is the middle of summer. This is June, and we've been snowed on. So you have to
wear layers. Always, always wear layers. Well, Colorado's like that, but up there it is. It's like all of a sudden. I remember going from Florence area up to Cripple Creek area, and all of a sudden the temperature just dropped by like 20, 30 degrees. I was like, what is what just happened? We were, in a t-shirt and now we're not, you know what I mean? So it does. Colorado's like that. But, Telluride you're talking about those festivals, the Blues and Brews Festival is hugely famous. So many great musicians perform there. I want to go to that big time.
Well, my personal favorite is the Bluegrass Festival, but we're not that's not what this show's about, right?
I know, but that you may be road tripping to go there for an event. You really could be. True. I mean, that could be part of it, so it's a huge thing. And our friend, Skip, may he rest in peace, is actually one of the founders of the Bluegrass Festival. It's amazing.
Oh, neat. It's amazing because we've been to it several times now. We absolutely love it. But what we find there is we love the food. Every restaurant we've gone into, we haven't found a clinker, right? And I don't always remember from one year to the next the restaurants, but we've had some of the best food ever. And I think they have to do that because in the wintertime, they're a ski destination. And then in the summer, there's 100 other, there's hiking and fishing and, and bike riding and horseback riding and boating. There's a lot of things you can do up in that area. So from Telluride, the town of Telluride, there's a gondola that goes to Mountain Village, which takes you up like a gondola up to one where the ski, sort of some of the ski areas are, but that's what the Mountain Village is. And so sometimes we just park up at Mountain Village and then take the gondola down to the festival because it's easier parking. Parking in Telluride is difficult from time to time. But I had the same experience with the food up at Mountain Village. Everything was fabulous. And I love in the drive back and forth. So Priest Gulch is not really close. I think it's 38 miles between that and Telluride. We just couldn't get into any of the campgrounds around there. But we saw elk. The mountains were spectacular. The herds of elk were amazing. The wildflowers, there were wild irises and lupins. I think you call them bluebells. And the whole field of yellow, I don't know even what they were, but the flowers up there during that time of year were spectacular. Take sunscreen and sunshades because I also been sunburned like crazy up there with a hat on and long sleeves. But it's, I picked Telluride because I think it's one of the most beautiful spots in Colorado, and Colorado has lots and lots of them.
Yeah, it does. It's a beautiful state. Yeah,
and I like the ride up there. I mean, coming up the way we come up, you're going Dolores. We go through Dolores, but we've also gone back into central Colorado through Ridgeway, which has got Orvis Hot Springs. So there's natural hot springs up there. There's lots and lots of stuff.
I want to go. I miss Colorado. I mean, I think we've done so much of that state. It is gorgeous. And those mountain passes, man, I had to learn. You know how I had to learn. Man, you get out. The one time we did, Wolf Creek Pass, Nancy and I stopped. I opened the car door and we both fell out. When we weren't drunk, we just fell out because we couldn't stand. We were just so we were, used to being flatliners, on the flat ground and being so high up,
Wolf Creek is really wide. It's a really wide road. So when it snows, they have someplace to shove off the snow. But I think Wolf Creek itself is a wide, it's wide road. That one doesn't bother me in the least.
No, that got me. The $1 million highway that goes from Ouray down to Durango. That is hell no.
That is not wide. It's very slow. Be patient because if you're following an RV, you're not getting around it.
If you're following me, you're not getting around me. I might just stop because I'm sweating at the palms because that is one of the craziest mountain passes ever. There are no side rails. There's none of it. No, but it was so beautiful. Oh my God, was it gorgeous.
Beautiful. And there's other ones that are off some of the back roads because we do all of that stuff from time to time. And I absolutely love driving through there. We're just never in a hurry. So, I putz around and I get to gawk at all the beautiful scenery. Arizona has beautiful scenery too, but we end up going through Arizona because I think we're inundated with tourists to the point sometimes I don't want to enjoy the Arizona stuff as much as I do when I go to New Mexico or to Colorado, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah,
I love Tucson. Don't get me wrong. I love Tucson, and we could talk Tucson too. But you said road trip, so I'm giving you road trip stuff.
I know. Tucson is awesome. And if you're going to go to Tucson, I'd stay at Lowe's Ventana Canyon Resort, Hacienda del Sol. You can't go wrong in Tucson, really. It's just amazing. But we're going to close up now with everyone. Go back to Sharon. You gave us your song. Sharon, what is your song for a road trip? We're going to do music time now.
So mine is going to be Going Back to Birmingham. It's by Little Richard. And I feel like every time I hear that song, I think Birmingham because you got to choose it, right? And it's upbeat and fun. And who doesn't love Little Richard? So, and you're the party fun. So I think that's the perfect one.
I love Little Richard for sure. Tiffany, who's your song? Who's your song? At least I didn't say who's your daddy.
Who's my song?
What's your song?
Well, I had to find an Arkansas native, which there are lots. We've got, Johnny Cash, Glenn Campbell, tons of Arkansas natives. But I went with a little lesser known, but she should get more credit. Her name is Ashley McBride, and the song I'm going to play is Home Sweet Highway.
Makes total sense. Perfect. It's on the playlist. Yep. And everyone, the link is in the episode notes for the music playlist, our road trip song. We've already had one, and we're just piling more on. And so you're going to have I think about 300 songs or something to listen to on your road trip, which is cool. Joe, what is your song?
Ooh, I can't ever pick just one. This is the home of beach music and shag dancing. It was born here. We got Myrtle Beach Days. We got Carolina Girls, Ocean Boulevard, Shagging on the Boulevard.
I beg your pardon?
Hey, this is not England. Our shagging is done on 2 feet.
I'm sorry. I lived in England. When I hear shagging, I'm like, I beg your pardon.
and I left out of my original list, and I'm going to email it to you because we got to add "Be Young, Be Foolish, but Be Happy" by the Tams.
And shag.
And shag. That's right.
I love that.
Even Alabama did Shagging on the Boulevard.
Absolutely. And I learned to shag on a trip. I went to South Carolina this summer. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I have a new convert in my corner here.
You do.
Oh, there you go. Jeff, what's on your playlist? You couldn't stick to one either.
No, it was a hard decision. What popped to mind immediately, first off, I have to say I really like the I've Been Everywhere. I mean, I've got that going through my head right now. But my choice was Grateful Dead Truckin'. And then, but I also thought that the Allman Brothers Ramblin' Man would be a good one. And the very first song that you put on in the car when you're just starting the engine, and that's Get This Party Started by Pink.
Yeah, there you go. Eva, what's your song?
I'm Boring On the Road Again by Willie Nelson, because Jeff and I both sing that as soon as we start out on a trip every day.
Well, there you go. I mean, I think we live that. It's good. Thank you all so much for joining us. Everyone, again, the website links, article links, all that good stuff is in the episode notes, so check it out there. We want to thank our guests for joining us. The link to the map is in the episode links. Link to the music playlist. It has been fabulous having you all on our big road trip. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good road trip season and many good, safe, happy adventures. And Sharon, do not go off the cliff with Thelma and Louise, okay?
I'll avoid cliffs, yes.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Thanks for listening to Big Blend's Road Trip Radio Show. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. And for travel articles, road trip articles, go to blendradioandtv.com and nationalparktraveling.com. Happy travels!